probably the best sport in the sports movie genre is probably baseball.
Oh, yeah.
I think baseball just has...
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think that they just make for the best type of movies.
Oh, yeah, there's so many baseball movies.
No, there's so many baseball movies. And I think the reason that sports movies... Or, I'm sorry, the reason baseball movies are so good is because baseball is really about... Like, it's more emotional, I think, than a lot of other sports.
Oh, yeah.
Like, football is about kind of brute strength, physicality, you know, how fast, how long, whatever. Mm-hmm. But baseball is more of, I think, a connection with your heart.
Yeah, definitely.
And what I'm meaning to say by that is that there's a lot of white people in baseball. Which is why they make for the best movies. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But no, so...
I mean, you're not wrong.
You're not wrong.
But...
Ironically enough...
Then my boy Jackie Robinson...
I was going to say, ironically enough, my favorite baseball movie, and this is a great way to segue, is 42.
Yeah. That is the best baseball movie.
No, yeah. It's one of, if not the best baseball movies. Because baseball movies, I think, have two kind of distinct subgenres. Mm-hmm. They have super realistic... actually shit that happened,
and then comedic
kids playing in the backyard.
Yeah, like
that's really it.
Like Major League or
but
Benchwarmers,
Sandlot.
Oh.
Yeah, and we'll get to those in a second. But let's talk for a second about 42 because one of the best baseball movies, like we said, the breakout performance of Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace.
Yes,
Harrison Ford's in it.
Yes,
the guy from the Fast and Furious movies is in it. Mm-hmm. And then the guy from Law and Order is in it. I forget his name.
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, he plays the coach.
The coach
from Law and Order.
Yeah. So he's the manager. I think is he the AAA manager? Or is he no, he's the regular manager. Yeah, he's the regular manager. But yeah, go ahead and talk about 42 for a second. I will step aside and let you talk for no reason at all.
Yeah, no.
Go ahead, because we both play baseball.
Yeah, I mean, 42 is the pinnacle of baseball movies, in my opinion. The way they show how hard it was for Jackie to break through.
Yeah.
And, you know, actually get people to look at him as a baseball player and not as...
a Make-A-Wish kid, basically.
Yes, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, because, you know, they bring him up. Obviously, back then they all had problems with it because he was a black person coming into a predominantly white sport. Only white. Yeah, only white sport at the time.
Exactly.
And I think this movie did a great job of showing just how difficult it was for Jackie, especially the scene when he is at the house during spring training and all those people show up asking if Jackie's in there. The scene where he's playing first base and one of the guys like purposely steps on his leg to injure him and the strife it causes with the teammates he's playing with, how some of them aren't for it and the others are, and it's just it's such and then they show how it affects his family too, like at that airport when him and his wife are trying to get to spring training, I think it was, and she goes into the white restroom, and Jackie's sitting there like, oh God, what is she doing? And it's just like they do a great job of showing it. It's not just here he is playing baseball. They show every aspect of how difficult it was for him to do it.
Right. I love this scene too. Like, I mean, you got to think like Jackie Robinson. Not only did he have to be good, he had to keep his emotions in check. And there's the scene after his first at bat, he pops out, and you know, like before his at bat, you know, the manager's calling him the N word and this and that, and monkey. You know, what you do to Kalen, basically. And so he pops out, and he goes into the goes to the hallway by the locker room, and he's just screaming.
Oh, yeah.
And he's just, like, so frustrated, and he's, like, you know, hitting his bat on the wall and everything like that. And, you know, what's so, I think, important about that scene is he could not do that in front of anybody. Like, he had to be completely secluded. Like, he had to be completely independent because nobody could have seen that, or else it would have just been over.
Like, the thing with Jackie, too, is I think Jackie was such an emotional person and, like, very... Like, not angry, but like he got that. He felt it.
Yeah, he felt it. Yeah.
Like, and I think anybody in that situation would have felt it.
Exactly.
But I think Jackie, out of all people, was probably gonna be one of the people that would cause a problem. But the way he was able to not,
right? Because he knew the implications of what he did. You know, like if this was happening today, he could have spoken out and he could have done whatever. That was not an option back then. He had to kind of basically shut his mouth and deal with it. And that's the sad truth of how that was back then. But he was, like Harrison Ford said, like he can handle it.
Yeah.
Like he was so uniquely gifted, not only as a baseball player, but as a person to compartmentalize all that. And again, he didn't not get angry. He didn't not get upset. He didn't, let it all just go past him. But he, dealt with it outside of the public eye to where, again, the story of Jackie Robinson, I think they follow the story of Jackie Robinson so beautifully. It's really well acted. Harrison Ford's awesome. Jackie Robinson, Chadwick Boseman's awesome. Just a really, really good movie. And again, that's the part of the subgenre of baseball movies where you're like, again, because baseball has so many great stories over the course of baseball. Like over the course of the sport, so many great stories. Jackie is, I would argue, the most important one.
Oh, yeah.
Not only was Jackie a catalyst for like the Major League Baseball, integration, but like the NFL, college,
everything.
The NBA. The NBA is kind of Y'all been had that one. You know what I'm saying?
y'all had that in the bag.
Y'all been had that one.
Yeah.
But like I know like that's really important. And now in today's age, seeing black athletes play any sport is nobody bats an eye. Well, not nobody, but majority of people don't bat an eye because it's like it's just common practice. And a lot of that I think can be attributed to Jackie Robinson. So great movie. On the complete opposite end of the baseball spectrum, The Sandlot.
Oh.
The Sandlot's a movie where you think of like playing baseball as a kid. You think of like just hanging out with your buddies, going to like the diamond at your in your neighborhood or whatever, just getting a group together. Like it's just a feel good baseball movie.
It is such a good
so
movie.
Iconic. Yes. You're killing me small. It's one of the most iconic lines in any sports movie, let alone baseball.
Yeah.
It's just I think it epitomizes what's beautiful about the game on a micro level. Like again, just hanging out with your buddies, playing. You can't.
It's like it's very much a baseball season or movie, but also at the core of it, it's about kids.
Yeah.
Being kids.
Exactly.
And like how the ball goes over the fence and they're terrified it's some big monstrous
the scale is not
dog.
Big.
But it's not. He's just an old little dog.
Well, like again, the scale is not integrating black players into Major League Baseball. The scale is oh shit, the ball's over the fence,
There's a big monstrous dog protecting
exactly.
it.
Like there's a dog, like the dog's chasing us. So again, it's like on the opposite end, but I think it does a great job of still, epitomizing what's beautiful about baseball. Another and you can interject at any point with any movies. These are just some that I wrote down. Some goofy ass movies in baseball. Angels in the Outfield. That's one of those like Disney's, CGI kind of remake. I think Christopher Lloyd did that one, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm gonna be so honest with you.
Yeah.
I have not seen that movie.
Bro, come on. It's one of those movies where it's like, I can't say it's like, you have to watch it, but it's kind of like,
I'm gonna watch it.
You gotta watch it. You gotta watch it.
Like all the movies we have on our list, I've seen except that movie.
It's one of those. It's not like Moneyball where you're like, dude, this movie is so good, blah blah blah. Which we'll get to Moneyball because I have a lot to say. Yeah. But we'll talk, and it's like, but it's just like you just gotta watch it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, come on. Rookie of the Year is a good one as well. Utilizing the best team in Major League Baseball, the Chicago Cubs.
Shut up. That's the only bad part about that film is that it's the Chicago Cubs.
But I think that movie is like kid fan fiction.
Oh yeah.
It's like every kid wants to be 10 years old and have their favorite baseball team call them up and be like, bro, we need you.
Like every kid at one point when they go to a game is like, what if I just threw this ball?
Yeah,
I could get called up. And they're like, oh yeah. That's what that is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's like just this kid who's just throwing gas.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Straight heaters.
Straight heaters. And it's like at 9 years old, you're like, I think I could pitch for the Cubs. I think I could do that. You know what I'm saying? So that's a good movie. Again, a lot of these movies are just like, they're not cinematic masterpieces per se. They're just feel-good kids movies.
Yeah.
Rookie of the Year, Angel in the Outfield, Sandlot. There's a bunch of baseball movies like that. But one movie that I think actually changed Major League Baseball, which is we'll get to in a second, Field of Dreams. It's a really good movie. Kevin Costner, really, really good movie. For those who don't know, Major League Baseball, as of a couple years ago, actually turned the field in that movie into an actual usable MLB stadium. And once a year, maybe they're going to do more now because it was so successful. They've done the Field of Dreams game. So last year it was the Cubs and Reds, I believe. And then the year before,
the Sox and
the Sox and the Yankees.
Oh, yeah, Sox and Yankees.
Sox and Yankees,
Didn't the Cubs and the Sox do it too?
Oh, God, that's what I'm saying. I think there was a few, but I can't remember.
I remember Sox and Yankees. That was
that was the first one. That was a great game too.
Yeah.
But the actual movie, Kevin Costner, and we'll talk about him more later on the list, is he like the king of sports movies?
Oh, yeah.
Because he's been in a few. He was in another baseball movie too, and I'm forgetting the name.
Oh, I was just thinking of it.
Yeah, he was a pitcher.
Major League.
Major League. Yes, Major League. Yes, he was in that one. He was good in that one. But he's really good in Field of Dreams as well. Mm-hmm. You think that's a top 3-4 baseball movie in your opinion?
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
It's close. It's close for me. I'll say that. But what I really kind of want to talk about, and what's probably going to take a majority of my breath, Moneyball. Moneyball is kind of universally recognized as like the baseball movie. And Brad Pitt is great. Jonah Hill's great. This was, if I'm not mistaken, this was pre-Parks and Rec, Chris Pratt. Mm-hmm. So that's his breakout movie as well.
I think, wasn't Clint Eastwood in this movie too?
Yeah.
No. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of another movie.
Yeah, you're thinking of the one with Amy Adams.
Yeah. Sorry.
Forget that one.
Yeah.
I've not seen that one, but I know which one you're talking about. Yeah. But Moneyball's a really good movie. And Moneyball, the plot of Moneyball is so simple, but it's so funny. The plot of Moneyball is, we're broke, figure it out. And Billy Beane has to be like, all right, I got a ball on a budget here. So his whole philosophy, and you hear this 5,000 times if you watch the movie, does the guy get on base? Does he get on base? Does he, do this? And, I think it's a great story because they take a list of cast-offs. They take, like, David Justice, and they do this, and, they have Scott Hattenberg and the guy nobody wanted, blah, blah, blah. And there's that whole scene where they're in, the scout meeting and whatever, and, Brad Pitt, Billy Beane is talking, and he's like, does the guy get on base? He keeps pointing to Jonah Hill. He's like, what does he do? He gets on base, and that's the whole plot of the movie. But the movie, the undertone of it is, like, underdog. It's an underdog story, mm-hmm. It's an underdog in both the Athletics not having any fucking money, and it's guys like Scott Hattenberg who, had a defect in their game, or this pitcher threw funky, or whatever, and it's an underdog story. And I think that it is, in terms of the movie, like just talking about the movie's really good. The movie's like 9.5, 10 out of 10 range. Like it's really, really good. My gripe with it, though, mm-hmm. and it's a legitimate beef, it's not very historically accurate.
Oh, no, not at all.
Because they do not talk about, I think, what made that Athletics team successful. Like, if you watched that movie and you knew nothing about the early 2000s Athletics, you'd be like, oh my gosh, Scott Hattenberg was so good, David Justice, blah, blah, blah. That Athletics team really was dependent on Miguel Tejada mm-hmm. and that pitching and that rotation. Mm-hmm. Their rotation was really damn good. Yep. And again, that was the point of their success. Because Jason Giambi was an MVP caliber guy. He left, and then Miguel Tejada was the same thing. Mm-hmm. So they kind of, whatever. The other thing that really pisses me off, though, is it makes the Athletics owner almost seem like a victim, where he's just kind of like, sorry, we don't have any money. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're shit broke. Like, we got to figure something out. When in reality, he's just a cheap ass. Yep. He's just a cheap ass. And, like, that's kind of where I'm like, it gives him too much slack. And I get, like, they don't necessarily make him, like, a hero. But I think the movie doesn't villainize him. And obviously, like, if he's going to give the licensing to the Athletics, they can't, like, have his team and be like, yeah, you're a piece of shit. I get it. But, like, at the same time, it's kind of not actually historically accurate to what it is. But let's talk about, what do you think, Wes? I'm going to let you ramble here for a second because I've been yapping. What do you think makes a good baseball movie? Like, when you look for a good baseball movie, what are things and characteristics that you look for?
Oh, that's a great question, Michael.
Thank you. I wrote it myself, actually.
Sorry. Just kidding. No, I think a great baseball film, literally, it's like Jackie, 42 does it great. I mean, you get the aspect of the baseball side into it very well. Yeah. And then the story behind it is also really good for the characters and what happens to them outside of baseball. Now, if you're making a film like Moneyball, where it's just strictly about baseball and the front office of it, if you so will do, I think that I don't know. I think it depends on if you're going for a movie that is supposed to be historically accurate, like 42, mm-hmm. or if you're making a movie that is completely not historically.
So it depends on what kind of caliber.
Like, so like if you're like, because if you're going like with Major League, it was about the Indians, but it wasn't very, historically accurate. It wasn't supposed to be that way. Yeah. Whereas 42 is a very, very,
and like obviously rookie of the year is not.
No,
that's never been a 9-year-old to pitch for the Cubs.
Right.
To my knowledge,
so I think it depends, and I think you just have to be able to hit the the beats right on baseball.
So you're saying you need to hit the heartstrings.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
Because baseball is a very emotional sport.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say too. I think regardless of where you go, if you go the Jackie Robinson route, if you go the Billy Beane route, if you go the Sandlot route, you got to hit the heartstrings.
Yeah.
The ending of the movie has to make you feel good. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That's what baseball is. So I agree. And then, do you have any just bad baseball movies that you ever seen? It's kind of hard to make a bad
anyone with the Cubs in it.
I hate you. I can't stand you. One baseball movie that I'll say probably, you're an asshole, first of all. One baseball movie that I would say sticks out above the rest in terms of comedy, pure laughs, is Benchwarmers. That movie is hilarious.
Dude, I love that movie.
First of all, you have a guy who works at a video store who his whole plot is he just wants to get with the Pizza Hut girl. Mm-hmm. Then you have his buddy who is afraid of the sun and eats sunscreen. Then you have the main character who, former top baseball player, whatever, was a bully. By the way, the scene where they go to the rich guy's house and he just has all the Star Wars shit, that shit makes me laugh to this day.
Facts.
Yeah, and then my other favorite scene is when it's when they're playing in the semi-championship against the rival school, and they bring in that old Hispanic guy to be the pitcher, and they're like, "I want to see a birth certificate," and he pulls out the thing. It says, "I'm 13" with the money in there. That shit's so funny. That's one of those baseball movies that to me is so outside of the norm of baseball movies because it's not wholesome at all.
No.
Well, I mean the ending's kind of wholesome, but the movie is really inappropriate. It's really funny. It's just stupid, goofy. Fun.
That movie comes in it knows it's not a serious movie.
No.
It is a comedic ride they're going to take you on.
Exactly.
It's not afraid to be stupid and funny.
Exactly.
Or inappropriate or whatever.
And the ending, they get fucking creamed. Yeah. But it's nice because they let all the kids play. You know what I'm saying? But if they get destroyed, which is hilarious.